When you think about having fun, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For me, prepping a 1968 Datsun 520 engine for rebuild. Let's get this party started. I am your host, the one and only infamous Kentucky Yankee, without a doubt. The camshaft would not come out of this engine. It was stuck. It felt like it was hitting something solid, but I knew it wasn't, so this is how I got it out. I have this socket here, and I put it over that. By the way, this is just a reenactment. I already got it out, as you can see. Put a socket here, long bolt. I threaded the bolt all the way in to the cam till it bottomed out. Couple washers, and now this nut. And when you tighten this nut right here, obviously we've made a puller. You don't want to hit on a camshaft or smack on it or anything like that, so this is the best way probably to pull out one that is stuck. The camshaft, by the way, seems to be in great shape. The bearings, not so much. This last one is probably the worst. They're not terrible. I will replace them. Cylinders are all honed out and they look pretty decent. I'm not going to say that this is the right way to do this. This is not the right way to fix this engine. It should be bored out. You should get new piston and rings. That being said, I think I can get by with this. I'm not saying I can. I'm saying I think I can get by with this, and I'm willing to take that chance. Cylinder bore is supposed to be 73 millimeters. It is now 73.14, which is like 7/1000ths. That's how much larger the bore is now than it was after honing and wear. Also, there is some small pitting left over in there from the rust, and I'm not going to eat up the cylinder anymore by honing it more. I'm just going to live with that too. Time will tell if I got by with this or not. Sometimes I say silly things. I was editing my last video and I said, oh, this looks factory. And I'm editing the video looking at it saying, no, that's not factory. Obviously not. It got a hole in it and somebody shoved this bolt in there, and look, it's a self-tapper to try and stop it from leaking. We do have a nice new set of freeze plugs coming, expansion plugs if you will. Not done yet, but that's the results of the first cleaning. I scraped all the heavy stuff off, sprayed it down with oven cleaner, used a brush to scrub it, and then pressure washed it. I'm pretty sure any brand oven cleaner will do a good job to cut the grease. One thing I just noticed is the cam bearing looks like it spun, the middle one. There's no damage done to the camshaft, but this bearing looks like it did spin. Some parts for our truck just arrived, the timing set, and it came with this tensioner, but it's missing the spring. We'll use the old spring or use the old spring to match it up to a new spring. Shouldn't be a problem. Cleaning everything up, prepping the engine, parts coming in, things are going our way. I showed in the first video how to remove these valves. If you hadn't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out. We're going to do a little work to the head, a little tune-up. So first we need to remove these valve seals. They've got little flat washers here that need to be removed. This is a grinding compound, just specially made for valves. Put a little on there. It just needs to be right here where they seat, but I've made a mess, and that's okay. Put a little oil on the valve stems. Intake valve is always bigger. These are actually labeled IN and EX. Exhaust is smaller because the exhaust is forced out. The intake, it needs to be sucked in. This stupid little junky tool is made to do this job, but I don't know if anybody uses these anymore because they never did work very good, but I'll show you how they work. It's a suction cup. You're supposed to just push it on, then see, it's supposed to stay on. You go like this. Anyways, if I took the time, I could show you how it works. It's a waste in my opinion. One other way is to use a hose, attach it to the end of the valve, and then you can spin it like that by hand. A much better approach is just to hook a cordless drill to the end of your valve here. At slow RPM, just let her run. I usually go back and forth a little bit. Looking for like a dull finish around here, like it's been sanded on a little bit, and that looks pretty good actually. The seat's the same way, just kind of a nice dull finish around that circle, and there shouldn't be any pitting in there. There might be minimal pitting on this job because I don't expect it to turn out perfect. I'm going to do a little bit more though, grinding on them. Biggest concern you should have when doing this is don't get any grit down in there on your stems. You don't want to wear that out. You don't want to wear out your guides. There is a better way of doing this. You can pay money to bring it to a machine shop. They could grind the valves and lap them all in and make them perfect. They can check all your guides and make sure they're real tight and nice how they're supposed to be. But in my opinion, looking at this head, what we're doing will work out just fine. One more thing, make sure your valves go back in the same hole that you took them out of. Don't mix them up and scramble them up. That would not be a good deal. Head's all cleaned up. I need to check and make sure it's not warped, so I need a straight edge. I'm going to go visit my buddy Max. I'm sure he has one, and we'll check it out. This is a straight edge. It's perfectly straight right here. We're going to go like this. We got feeler gauges. How much is that?
5 thousandths.
He's got 5 thousandths right there, so it's warped, out of shape 5 thousandths in that spot. Tight there. Oop. Tight. Was it snug there?
Yeah.
We'll check down here.
4, 5, 6.
Almost.
Tight.
Oh, there it is. It slipped in.
Slipped in there.
6 thousandths. You get the point. We're just putting a straight edge on here and slipping under the feeler gauge to see how many thousandths is out. What's the worst we got? Was it 8 or 6?
We found a place that had 7 a while ago.
So in the middle, it's like this. It's like a banana. It can be warped just a little bit. If it's within specs and the gasket will take it up, then it's okay. I've got to look it up. But if it's not, then we'll have to have it milled flat at the machine shop. I was unable to find a spec for the warp tolerance on that specific head, but generally it looks like people agree 3 and 4 thousandths. If they're out that much or more, they would have to be milled or fixed. This one's going to the machine shop. It would cost me more money to buy the stuff to mill the head than it would just bringing it to the shop. I want to polish up the crankshaft a little bit. I'm going to start off with a 400 grit piece of wet, dry sandpaper. Wrap it around this journal. Then I'll tape it with this tape. And I will use this strap. This is a piece of a strap I cut to put around it, and we'll back and forth. First, a little WD-40 to keep it lubed up and slippery. Now for our strap, and it's flat. That's why I'm using a strap. Just a few minutes using 400 grit made a big difference on this crank. Now I'll use 1,000 grit or maybe even 1,500 and do it again till it's polished nice and shiny. I'll show you the end results. There's the end result. I did not get every little tiny scratch out or anything like that. I just wanted to polish it up, and I achieved my goal. I even went the extra mile by using a very mild steel polish. No magic or wizardry here. People have been polishing cranks for as long as crankshafts have been made. Here's our weld repair on the oil pan. I'll show you the inside. That's the inside, and it was pitted a little bit in there, so I had to weld it in two different spots. Will this repair hold water? Nope. And of course it will. After the second time, I did have to go back and fix that little spot again. But she's all sealed up now. We are certainly making it happen. Parts are coming in. I'll do something with that head. Stay tuned. Soon we'll have a runner. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.